if you choose to start experimenting with some of this material, you're interested, if this so-called God being exists in the way that I'm describing him, then yeah, let me see what you got, God, You can do that as you start receiving some of God's love, okay? You're going to start covering memories, okay? Now, when I say experiment, I mean like, if you recognize that you're getting angry in any particular situation, you know that through our progression here, okay, that anger is a result of our addiction not getting met, which is to cover fear, okay? So, if you've got anger, try to challenge your addiction and feel your fear, okay? So like, let's say you have your own beliefs about anything going on in this place, right? And then let's say you're watching, one of these videos, and something that I say triggers you, and you start to get angry. It could be a fun game to notice yourself getting angry, okay? You're like, I'm getting angry. That means I know covering fear, okay? If you allow yourself to feel your fear, then you can prove to yourself, okay, now I know anger covers fear, okay? And it's addiction that separates them, okay? We create addictions to cover our fear, okay? So as you start to feel your fear, you will have less addictions. And then you can start playing around with things, seeing how things go. I'm not gonna, we'll leave it at that for now, okay? But this is fun. Now, as you start feeling out your fear, you're gonna recover your memories, okay? Now, when I say recover your memories, I mean you will be able to remember everything that you have done in your entire life and everything that has ever happened to you. Perfectly. We were designed that way. Okay? Now, you can experiment with this, right? You start feeling out your fear and releasing grief, your memory starts coming back. Oh, this happened, that happened, okay? See, if you're a person that believes in reincarnation or multiple lives, ask yourself, are memories from other lifetimes coming back? Or am I only recovering memories from this life? That may be a piece of evidence to show that for the vast, vast majority of us on the planet, this is our first life. Okay? Now, when we have traumatic events, we may still remember them. Like, yeah, like this thing happened, I remember it, But the emotional totality of the traumatic events are suppressed. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you a personal example. Okay? When I was like maybe 12, the person who raised me, the male figure who raised me, hunted deer. Okay? And being his son, I took an interest in his hobbies, okay? So he said to me, okay, if I get a deer, then you can stay home from school the next day and help me with the deer. And I got all excited, like, hey, cool. Get to, ditch school, hang with my dad, we're outside, it's gonna be great. Well, I come home from school one day, and he has murdered a deer. So, the next morning, we both go out to the woods. And we track the deer, we find, here's some blood, we follow the blood, there's the body. And when I saw the body, I was totally overwhelmed. This was a very large creature. And there it lay, dead. But the body's like still kind of warm. And I'm like frozen, like, ah. what do I do? So he holds out a knife and he says, take this, cut its balls off, cut it all the way up the chest cavity, then roll up your sleeves, reach in and pull out all the innards, and that'll make it lighter for us to then drag it by the antlers back to the street. And I considered all that, and I was just like, you know what, there's no way I am carving up this animal. And what I said to my father was, I'm not doing that. I'll help you drag it, but I'm not doing it. And he said, fine. And then he went and he did it himself. Okay? Now, do I remember that event happening? Yeah, I do. I'm 12. I remember it. Okay? But I was not aware of the emotional totality of that event until I started feeling out my emotions. As I started feeling out my emotions, I understood my emotional intellect grows. And now you recover the memory with the full awareness of what was happening in the event. Okay? So like really, emotionally, what he was projecting at me, even though all he said was fine, he was projecting at me, you are not my son. And I absorbed that. That is a serious anger-based projection, because I did not support his worldview that it was okay to do that to an animal. It disgusted me and it grossed me out. And he couldn't accept that I felt that way. I mean, he accepted it in the physical. But, yeah. A lot more going on than we realize, okay? A lot more going on. Because, then it's like there's other, okay, so like he projects this at me, okay? And now I'm suppressing this notion of my father is not my father. And that grows and turns into, I don't know where I came from. Who am I? What am I? How does his behavior, if he believes that he is not my father, how does that affect how he raises me? This is intense stuff, okay? Have some compassion for yourself. Do not judge your own anger. You're gonna be angry. You start going through this stuff, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. But why do it, right? To receive God's love, which is our life force. It is our soul's life force. And our physical body is just a condensation of matter from our soul. Okay, so how do we receive God's love again, right? The equation is humility, which is the desire to own and feel all of your own emotions, plus truth, meaning the truth from the Creator being's perspective, not your own personal truth, the Creator being's perspective, her truth, his truth. Remember, God is a masculine and feminine, complete, soul-based entity. That being wants to share her love with you. That being wants to share his love with you. So when we work through our layers of emotion, we are able to receive God's love, and then we start recovering memories, okay? When we understand the emotional totality of our trauma, we're able to go deeper and feel out even more, okay? And then recognize how our own errors that we have taken out in the world and used our own free will to enact on other people. Most of what I've been talking about up to this point has been about recognizing where our errors come from the Creator's perspective. I really haven't talked much about each individual person using their own free will, their own non-loving free will, to enact their own trauma on other beings, the planet, so on and so forth, okay? We'll talk more about that later, all right? But it's important to recognize that, like, you know, shit's gonna get wild. You're gonna start recovering memories. You're gonna start realizing your parents aren't as loving as you thought they were. That's okay. Okay, it's okay. Feel it out. Okay? Love and peace, friends.